Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Brian Pierce here, episode 80. That's a big number. My daughter just told me that she now knows how to count to over 100, which means, she's 6. That's good for her, I guess. So that means that the fact that we're sitting here at 80, she could actually help me realize the fact that 80 is a very large number. It takes a long time to count to, and I'm very, very thankful for the fact that we're sitting here on the couch, myself on the couch. We got Steven in the chair, of course. That's where he lives. Hello, Steven Sand. How's it going? I am very thankful as well that we're back. It's been 2 weeks that we have had a hiatus of sorts. Of fact, we have had a hiatus. 2 weeks ago, I was in Pittsburgh with work, and I could not get away on time to, unfortunately, do a show. And then last week, I had shoulder surgery, as you can tell by this fancy, awesome contraption that I have going on. We'll obviously get into that a little bit more because it's fun information to talk about. I think that a lot of people in the world have had injuries, and it's just good to kind of know how people recover from those, move throughout the world and make things happen. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the racing that has happened in the past 2 weeks. But luckily, our guest that we have this evening for episode 80 is Jesse Groemm. I'm going to say Groemm, and I'm going to be corrected very shortly, I'm sure, on how we actually pronounce his last name. But Mr. Jesse Groemm, how is your evening going, kind sir?
It's going good. Happy to be on the show, and you pronounced my last name right, spot on.
Boom! See, we disappear for 2 weeks. I get on a bunch of happy narcotic drugs, and shit starts falling into place. I don't know. I think it's good. You think it's gonna work out, or think we're gonna screw it up more?
I don't know. We're off to a good start, so
I like it. Well, I'm glad that you are as positive about the situation as I am, and I think that we're gonna do an absolutely fantastic job. So, Jesse Groemm, one of the reasons that I wanted to chat with you for this show is because, not just because of your fine performance this past weekend at the Cajun Classic National Enduro in Louisiana, but that is one of the reasons. It's a very, very tough, nasty, muddy race for the 4th round of the National Enduro Series, and I wanted to get your take on it. We heard a lot of the super fast guys, guys on the podium and stuff like that, your Mullenses, your Bobbitts and Ferringers, about how muddy and tough the course was. And we heard a lot about there was only like 14 C riders that actually finished. So being a guy that's your first professional year on, with a team at the National Enduro Series, we wanted to get your take on this past weekend. So overall, before we start getting nitty gritty, give me your kind of your thoughts on the race this past weekend.
Yeah, well, Saturday I was looking at the dirt and rode the little practice loop, and I was like, man, the dirt's going to be perfect, just that right amount of moisture, and then we got hit with all that rain, so I thought I was going to absorb it, a little bit better than it did. The first 2 sections were pretty kind of sandy and fast, and I was strong in those, but it was definitely, got slimy and nasty and rutted out and chewed up, and there were some guys struggling in the mud, and it was definitely a tough race. I mean, I had my goggles off, half the time, and it wasn't an easy one for sure.
Yeah. I think in one of your interviews that you did, you mentioned that you did so well. You were in the top 3, I believe, and maybe after the first 2 or 3 sections. And is it because of the fact that, the sandy conditions seem to, be what you kind of grew up riding in up in the Northeast?
Yeah. I live in South Jersey, and it's, sandy, and I like the fast flowing sandy kind of a lot of traction trail, and that's what the first 2 tests were kind of like that. And I just didn't make any mistakes, rode smooth, kind of kept the arm pumped down, and was just smart. And then I definitely think just being around from where I'm from and everything, that's definitely one of my strong points.
Yeah. Now we did actually talk with Mike Lafferty. I believe it was about 4 weeks ago now. At this point, 2 episodes back, and he's from South Jersey as well. But you guys are kind of from different parts from South Jersey, right? Is it's not exactly around the corner, or are you guys really close?
an hour. He's like an hour and 15 south. I'm kind of more like it's still considered South Jersey, but it's kind of it's like 45 minutes away from Central Jersey. So he's way south. He's all the way down there, and I'm
Right.
kind of not that New Jersey's that big compared to Texas, but
Right. Yeah, we live in a big state for sure. Yeah, Texas is a big state. So when I think of Jersey, though, I think of the city. I don't know why. It's
like
probably because I'm from Texas. I'm just ignorant. I'm a Texan. It's what it is. But so how close are you to what people would consider like Jersey, as in close to New York City and things like that?
New York is hour and a half north. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen the show Jersey Shore.
Oh
So
yes, Snooki is hot. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously,
that's only the Jersey Shore. That's Seaside. That's only 15, 20 minutes away from my house.
wow. So you got to hang out with those guys a lot then, right?
No, actually, I don't go over there at all, really.
Is that a bad part of town, or is it just a party central?
I guess there's a lot of partying and stuff going on. I've never really got into that kind of scene or anything, but
Well, you just turned 21, so you got
yeah.
you got all time in the world to screw your life up. So it's no worries. Well, yeah, I did not watch Jersey Shore too much. Unfortunately, my wife always told me about a lot of the stuff that went on, and I was just kind of like, "That's cool. We'll go with it. Sounds good." There was that one chick that was hot though, Jessica or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I forget. Yeah.
I don't know her
I
name.
didn't watch them all either.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. She was attractive. We just went with it. It probably didn't say anything that was worth hearing. So, in the long run, we just kind of went with it. So for those of you that might be just tuning in for the first time, what you're watching is Seat Time. We do this as much as we can every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. We sit down, we find riders that we want to talk to, not just that are relevant of the time, but riders that either making impacts, have really good opinions, that really can put a lot of value into the things that we talk about here on Seat Time. So beer drinking, bench racing, talking about results, and just having a good time. So if you find anything entertaining tonight, please, seattime.co is the website where you can find more of all the archives of Seat Time. And of course, we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher if you want to listen to that, we're on YouTube. Those are all the fun places that you can find us and listen and watch the show. We did, Jesse, you mentioned that coming back from the Texas Enduro, you were trying to watch / listen to one of the shows. But you were having some trouble because of the fact that you were kind of trying to get the video to load out in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it would be nice to be able to listen to the audio while driving.
Yeah, and so that's the cool thing, is I think that it's hard sometimes, with iTunes and Stitcher. Both of those are two apps. If you guys are on Android, Stitcher, of course, that's the Stitcher app, makes it easier. If you have an iPhone, you can easily have the iTunes app is right there. You can subscribe to the podcast. And it's audio only. I am not the most attractive person out there. I understand that. So if you don't want to stare at my face and some of the other riders' faces as we kind of go through all this, it's understandable. Audio only, it might be the better way for you to go. I don't know. So that's other ways for people to find out about Seat Time. Seat Time is brought to you by Fly Racing. I don't know if you saw our awesome intro done by Stephen Rice. So flyracing.com, go check them out. We got Squarespace as well, squarespace.com/seattime if you're looking to build the most awesome website ever, personally, for yourself, and not spend a lot of time nor a lot of money. That's the way to do it. And of course, graphics. Who doesn't want to have their motorcycle look freaking awesome? RidePG.com. They got two awesome discounts they want to talk about. Is 40% off if you get the ready to ship option that you can select, or you could use the discount code SEATTIME. I think those are all fantastic bits, and we're going to talk about more of our partners later and some of the things that they're going to offer to you, but we want to let you know about them now in case while you're listening or watching, you kind of want to browse the web as well. Those are some things you can go check out. So, Jesse, I think it'll be good to give some of our viewers and listeners a little bit of a backstory on yourself. I know that, your dad was a big rider. It turns out, reading around the internet, that he actually won a couple of overalls in some of the more regional enduros in your neck of the woods. So could you kind of give us a little bit of background of how, he influenced you and got you into riding and all that kinds of fun stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I got my first bike when I was 7 years old, and I had an XR80, and well, actually, I had a little quad that one of my stepdads got me first, but my dad got me an XR80, and he taught me how to ride and got me going, and we'd go out every Sunday and that kind of thing. And I was always just trying to chase him down until, finally I was able to go past him.
I like that. I remember it took me a very long time to be able to pass my dad, so I'm glad that you did it earlier than me.
Yep. So, yeah, it was good. I mean, getting started racing, my mom actually got me to the races just because my dad's like a crazy worker, and he doesn't have much time to kind of get out there and go to the races. So he's always just working and taking care of the property. But he taught me, how to ride and all that.
Yeah. Well, so what series did you, or what series, multiple, if it were, did you grow up riding in kind of the South Jersey area, or I'm going to say the Northeast? So there's like the NCSA or something up there, the Enduro Series. I just screwed it up. I know, that's fine, but
actually, the same Andrew DeLong grew up racing the same one. He was kind of a couple of years before me. He's a little older, but it's the ECEA, East Coast Enduro Association, and then also Series NEOC, which is Northeast Off-Road Championship Series. Both of those, I started in the ECA, riding youth and all that, and the NEOC was like another kind of series that popped up, and they started doing, both of them, and I grew up racing youth and A and double A in those series.
Is that there was a gentleman that we've talked to a couple times on the show, like Zach Huberty and Tanner Thomas. Are both of those guys from that same neck of the woods?
Yep, yeah, they're local kind of Northeast guys.
Okay, and do you get a chance to ride with them a lot now that you're kind of traveling as much as you are and working at everything, or do you kind of have a training schedule that you stick to since you have to travel and work so much?
Yeah, I haven't really rode with those guys. I see them, around the local races, and Tanner Thomas goes to the nationals, and I talk to them a lot, but I haven't ever really rode with those guys. Just they're, only a couple hours away, but I usually, if I'm not racing, I'm working and riding and training and see my girlfriend when I can, and just staying busy, and I can ride right out of my garage. I just put my gear on and start the bike and ride. So I actually ride with my local buddy Billy Schoenberg. He's a local double A guy, and just rip it up at my house, usually.
That's pretty awesome. So what you're saying is, if I came up to your house with my shoulder heels and we had a sleepover, that I could ride out of your garage as well.
Yeah, you could. Actually, my dad always been, since I was a kid, like real strict with like people parking. I mean, I could have people come ride, but he's always like 1 to 2 cars maximum. This isn't a highway back here, and I guess he's trying to preserve it or whatever. But yeah, you could come up and ride. Definitely. There's tons of stuff. I mean, it's not exactly all of it's legal or whatnot, but
hey, I own a gun. I'm in Texas, man. Do you have any? I could bring a gun. I got a CHL. It's fine. Whatever.
All right.
I'm into illegal. I mean, I'm into illegal in the most legal way possible. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm down to have fun. So don't tell anybody that I'm taking narcotics and having my first adult beverage in a very long time. But it's seat time. I figure if I'm going to water down anything, it's going to be on this show and make it as interesting as possible for you guys. You never know. I might wind up just taking off this tank top and just getting crazy. I don't know. Stuff's going to get weird. So I think your name kind of came more on the national scene, at least to myself, last year. You did extremely well at the National Enduros, kind of more on a privateer effort. And you were, reading around, you were definitely out talking to a lot of the factory teams that were going to be supporting more of the National Enduro teams for this year. And you were also able to fill in for Stuart Baylor Jr. when he was hurt and able to go to the ISDE on the junior team. You've had a lot of experiences that happened really, really quick, I think, in 2012. So of all the stuff that you kind of learned last year, like what did you take into 2013 and really like base the way that you were going to approach this year on?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot last year, just a matter of, you know, learning the right way to test and kind of and train and what it's all about and just minimizing, mistakes. And I kind of figured out last year that, I can run with those guys and I have the speed to do it. And it's just a matter of, learning to make the least amount of mistakes and being the preparation's everything. Everything you do affects in a race. How much sleep you got, how your bike's prepped, your physical conditioning. Just it's just I learned a ton about all those things.
Yeah. And you work full time, if I'm correct. Still, even though you're kind of on the AM Pro team and racing you're their main enduro effort this year. So,
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you have to juggle that schedule. I mean, what do you do? One, and then two, how are you juggling this schedule to be able to travel and make it to all these races?
Well, yeah, I'm really lucky to kind of have the people around me that help me and work with me as far as like working and stuff. Well, first, I'm a Boilermaker apprentice in the union in the local 28, and luckily they're understanding and kind of if I got a race, I can talk to them and in between work and stuff like that, and just kind of let them know what I'm doing, where I'm going, and I'm always kept up on my work and schoolwork and all that for the apprenticeship, and they kind of let me slide on things. And then also in between that, because there's not always work with that, my stepdad has like a general contracting company, mm-hmm. and they do renovations and drywall and all kinds of stuff, and they basically give me whatever freedom I need. If I need to ride Wednesday because it's going to be 70 degrees and sunny, I can say, hey, how busy are you? Can I leave early? Can I have a half a day, or can I have off? And they're cool with it, and they always, as long as they're busy, they always keep me going, so it's good.
Nice. Well, what exactly is a Boilermaker do? Now, I'm going to go out on the obvious limb and say that you make boilers, but I would imagine that a little bit more of a descriptive description would be beneficial, because someone like myself, I'm like, oh, he makes boilers. What the hell's that? Like, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a second-year apprentice, so I haven't been in that long. I just got in out of high school, so I'm not fully familiar with everything. But basically, so far, I've worked in oil refineries and a nuclear power plant and an asphalt plant, and there's different they call them heat exchangers and boilers, and nuclear energy makes it's all steam, and I guess the steam spins a turbine and makes the power. So, and it's all boilers that make steam. So basically, we repair and install them and that kind of stuff. It's pretty interesting. The pay's good, and it's tough, nasty, slimy work, but I kind of like it, and a lot of welding, and it's cool. Nice.
It sounds like science in a very engineering sense. So that's why I code websites. Because
you can. It's just like anything else. You can you could be the guy who. Oh, you're kind of lagging out there.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, I got you back. What'd you?
I was saying, I was asking for you to just go ahead and tell me, keep going with what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just like anything else. You could be, like, with racing a motorcycle, you could kind of be the guy that just goes out there and, goes along with it, or you could take it and be the best welder and learn the most about it, and it's just, there's tons of things to learn, and, it's pretty interesting. I try to, learn as much as I can, because you can't, as much as I'd love to, I don't think you can race motorcycles forever at a professional level.
Yeah, Mike Lafferty is certainly trying, but we'll see. We'll see how much longer I know he's rooting for that ninth championship, so we'll see if he can ever get it. And if he gets it, I'm sure he's going to retire. But if not, I don't know. He may just start pushing. He's going to have to be 40, so he might just push it all the way to 50, and see how it keeps going.
I know some guys that are over 50 that are ripping it up pretty good, but not at a professional level.
Right. Yeah, I know some guys that are way faster than myself that are, in their 40s and 50s as well. And so I just kind of like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna hopefully still be able to ride at that point. That's my plan. I may not be the fastest guy out there, but I'll definitely be the guy with the biggest grin. How about that?
Yeah, me too.
Well, so do you think after the little bit of success that you've had, this year going into the rest of the season, like what are your goals? Like what do you need? What do you need to have happen in 2013 for you to go, that was a successful year?
I mean, I need to be on that podium. I need to be not just once or twice. I mean, I want to be a contender, and my goal is to be, on that podium as much as possible, and just work my way to the top spot, and just learn as much as I can, and be doing the same thing next year.
Right. Okay. And with the success that you had last year, and then the races that we've had so far at the beginning of 2013, what have you learned that you now need to know you need to apply to, make those goals, a possibility?
Well, I mean, this year, being on a Yamaha, it's a totally new bike. So, I mean, as far as, we did a lot of testing and got the bike dialed in to where I'm really getting comfortable on it now. And, just this year, I mean, I always put a lot of pressure on myself, but I put a little bit more pressure because I'm on a team and everything else, and I want to perform, and I don't want to let anybody down.
Absolutely.
And, one thing that's really important that I think I forgot at the first couple rounds is just to, when I'm out there, I race my motorcycle because it's fun and I love it, and I just got to go out there. And when I'm having fun, that's when I ride. That's when I ride the best. Even if it's a tough, nasty, muddy race, you got to have fun. So.
Yeah. No, it makes complete sense. I think
So.
Yeah, no, I think being able to learn a little bit more about the team that you're on and kind of some of the GNCC racing that you've been doing as well is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing about that. I do need to take a quick break just to say thank you very much to Fly Racing. You can go check out their website at flyracing.com. Seat Time, they are the title sponsor of Seat Time. So if there is any part of Seat Time that you are enjoying, you should go check out their website and really think about supporting this group of guys, and all the gear and all the things that they do for the off-road community is absolutely amazing. They support way more teams, series, and riders than I think any other company in the industry. So please, flyracing.com. Some of the new gear that they've got coming out is the new spring mesh line that they've got for the spring line, the kinetic mesh for 2013, and it's their vintage gear, and it's awesome. I have some. It's unfortunately very far away right now because of the fact that I only have one arm and I can't reach it because I set it in the wrong place. So there we go. Technical difficulty number 1 for the evening. That sucks. So please check them out, flyracing.com. Dale Spangler is a very, very big help to us, and we appreciate it. You can find them as Twitter. We like to get tweeted really hard. If you want to tweet them real hard, at flyracing. It's like _USA. Boom. There you go. Tweet them real hard. Tell them Seat Time said, what up? And thank you, Fly Racing, for your support. So, new to the AM Pro Yamaha team for 2013. Yep. Tell us a little bit about how that came about at the end of last year.
Well, basically, actually at the Cajun Classic round last year, Randy Hawkins came up to me, and that was when I had a 4th overall finish, my best finish so far last year. And he just came up to me and introduced himself and gave me his business card, and just kind of built a relationship throughout the year and stayed in contact with him. And he kind of wanted to watch and kind of just see what kind of guy I was. And he told me to, talk to him, and just wanted to see, what I was all about. And also I was talking to Air Group, and I was trying to communicate with, KTM and just explore all my options. And towards the end of the year, I asked Randy if I could come down and try a bike, and he said, yeah, sure. And went and rode a bike, and felt decent on it, felt good. And towards the end of the year, he said, we're going to do this, and gave me a good opportunity. And I'm just completely stoked and just happy to have an opportunity to be racing on an awesome team, under Randy Hawkins and Paul Whibley's, and just want to learn as much as I can from those guys, and I'm just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if there's being on a team with Randy Hawkins as the manager and owner and all that, I mean, that's a lot of experience to soak up. And then of course you've got Paul Whibley, Jordan Ashburn, and a bunch of other. I mean, that's a hell of a team to be soaking up. So being on a team with Paul Whibley, or and being some of the GNCCs and stuff, what's that like? I mean, is he just like head down all business, or do you actually even get a chance to really communicate with them all that much?
I mean, I haven't been down. I've been down in South Carolina a decent amount, not that much, kind of in and out, and because it's kind of hard living in New Jersey. But Paul, he's pretty much, I would say, he's mostly all business. I think. I mean, you could talk to him. He's a nice guy, and I would say he's pretty focused. I mean, I think you could joke around a little bit with him, but he's business. I mean, I worked out with him a couple of times, and I mean, it was pretty intense, and
it hurt.
I mean, I took some of that and I tried to apply it when I'm at home to build my way up to, eventually be at where he is with the conditioning. But I think he's mostly business.
Yeah. Well,
you gotta be to be a GNCC and to be a champion,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a spot on comment to make. And a lot of people always talk too about how, his nickname, the Axeman, and how he's always, worked really hard to play really hard and to be able to do what he wants. And he definitely seems like the kind of guy, from everything that people have said, that just head down and just continues to charge through regardless of the obstacles in his way. Sometimes that's people, like Jason Hooper, if he's a cameraman, get taken out by people, and sometimes those are trees, and sometimes it's other riders. So that's just kind of the way it falls down. But go ahead.
Nick Davis ran over. Didn't Nick Davis run over his foot last year at Indiana, I think?
He did he got run over again last year too.
Where at?
No, you're talking about Hoop's foot, right?
Yeah, I think at Indiana, I think it was Nick Davis, I'm pretty sure, kind of slid out into him or something, or ran over his foot.
He's had some trouble there, I think, and it was Paul Whibley. I think it was maybe it was like 2009 or 2010. 2010 was his first year on the Yamaha. I don't remember if he was on the Yamaha or not. That Hoop was telling me about that, like Paul Whibley just totally like
cleaned him out.
Yeah, completely cleaned him out. Like he said, it was just a yard sale. Like, so, whoops.
Some people don't know, I guess, being a camera guy is a little more intense than, what people think.
Oh, yeah. Some of those close shots, unfortunately, when you edit, you don't actually put in the fact that you and the camera got sprawled 10 feet off the trail after you got that really close bit to the bike.
Should probably wear riding gear next time you go to and record at a race.
Well, that's only if I want to get the hardcore shots, get all up in there. So put a helmet on, some D-pads, get really into it. I think it could happen. It'd be really hot, though, in Texas. Woo.
Yeah.
So your GNCC, you've been doing the GNCCs for a little while. I saw some results there last year, but you've been mainly an enduro guy. And so how has your experience in the GNCCs been, coming from a mainly kind of enduro background? I think for myself it would be hard as shit because the speeds are totally different. Two totally types of race, but I'd like to hear it from you since you're way faster and better.
Yeah, I think last year when I did some of the GNCCs, I had some better results than this year. This year I'm not doing all of them. I'm just going to do some here and there and just try to learn and just get some more seat time. But the GNCCs are definitely a whole different animal, and it's just a matter of finding that pace and getting getting up towards the front pack and sticking with those guys. And compared to enduro, it's just so much more wide open and beat up, and it's just and really demanding. Yeah. So I think they're cool, and I think enduros are a lot more fun, but I want to get out to some more GNCCs and try to put in some results and learn as much as I can.
Yeah. So there's guys like Lafferty and Bobbitt who have done a fairly good job, I think, of making a career out of being enduro riders. You know, they as well, participate in other local events, more regional events, and like the OMAs and things like that. So more national, just not to the level of some of the like the GNCC say and those events. But is that something that you think that you could as well kind of niche out for yourself? I would think that would be fairly difficult, and you would really have to make a very, very good name for yourself to do something like that. But is that something that you've kind of given a thought, or are you going to try to get better and more experience in the more hair scramble type formats?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, I was kind of thinking, I'm going to do both series, and I'm going to go to the GNCCs and, try to, see what I can do. And, but I think for this year, like what got me on, where I am is the enduros. So I need to stay 110% focused on the enduros. And, hopefully I can niche something out to where that's the goal, to be a top enduro rider. But I'd like to be, work my way towards the top and at a GNCC level and start finishing in the top 10. And, the more versatile you are, the more valuable you are, just like in a job or in a career. And, I'd like to be able to do both, but enduros are definitely my more strong points. So I need to kind of focus and hone in on the enduros, start working my way, getting on the podium. And then, once when I feel like I can kind of branch off, then, focus on doing both,
Yeah. Well, so, we just got done with the Cajun Classic. We were talking about it being a super muddy race. Mullins got the win. Bobbitt second on, like 2.5 minutes behind him. And then Farringer another minute, minute and a half behind Bobbitt. So those are the guys on the podium. Then we've got Lafferty and we've got yourself. So you're in the top 5 there. So fantastic job. What do you think that those guys were doing different? Now, you said you had some trouble staying upright. Now, obviously, that's I find that the weekends that I have the shittiest rides are the weekends that I hit the ground more than I should have. So obviously that's a big thing. You got to stay upright. But, besides not crashing, what are some of the other things that you kind of could focus on? Say, like, it's such a muddy race. You don't know what it's going to be like. And how do you kind of mentally prepare for that? And what do you try to improve on?
I think one thing I should have, I kind of used laminated tear-offs, and I think roll-offs would have been a little bit better. But, besides just keeping it off the ground, it's just a matter of, being smooth, looking ahead, hitting the right lines. And some of the muddier, slippier sections, I felt like I was kind of lighting the back wheel up a little bit too much, kind of hitting a little bit too much and just, getting more wheel spin rather than just staying smooth and fast. And I think that's really important just to, you got to just carry a lot of momentum and just keep the mistakes to a minimum. It's all about who's hitting the right lines and who's not making the least amount of mistakes. And those are the guys that are winning.
Yeah. Do you think that Mullins, even though it's a little bit of a heavier bike, that the 350 that he was riding might have, because it was 4-stroke, the way that it delivers the power in the mud, might have been more beneficial than some of the guys riding all the 2-strokes, or like yourself and Bobbitt and Farringer?
Well, I think from what I remember in that, I think 3 and 4, section 3 and 4 were the most slippery sections, and 1 and 2 I felt had decent traction, and 5 and I think 6 had a lot of traction too. So I don't think in the first 2 and the last 2 sections were a 2-stroke was much of a disadvantage, but I think it was just as equal to the 4-stroke, But I think the 4-stroke, you're still going to be it's slippery to anybody, but right. I think the 4-stroke might have been a little bit of advantage in the slipperiness in sections 3 and 4. But Mullins is just, hats off to him. He's just a phenomenal rider. I bet you could put him on whatever bike and he would still just, put the results in. But, the 4-stroke, I think, probably would put a little bit more traction on the ground in those slippery sections.
Yeah, that's interesting. Everybody kind of has their stroke that they prefer, if you will. They're like, they're a 2-stroke guy, they're a 4-stroke guy, and then then you get those same kind of people that are like, oh well, it was because it was muddy, or oh, it was because it was dry. And so I like to get those opinions, especially from the top guys in that kind of stuff. It's like, and we had a great case in point because this weekend was so ridiculously muddy. It sounded like, and so I think it's interesting to be able to get your perspective on that. And to hear you say that, there are probably places where a 4-stroke might have been more beneficial just because of the way that it delivers power and for what it is, that the bike that it is.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to ramble on about that as much as possible.
There's pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages with either one.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. Okay, so Germany, junior team, world junior team. Trophy Cup, boom. How was that experience? Was that not just absolutely insane?
Yeah, it was insane. It was awesome. I mean, where do you want me to start?
Exactly. That's what I kept telling people when people asked me, like, how was it? I was like, it was freaking awesome. That's like your first response, I think, because it should be. But yeah, I mean, so you got the call. Did Auntie call you, or was it somebody else from the AMA that called you to let you know that, or to offer you the position to fill in for Stewart?
Yeah, it was Auntie on the ride back from Missouri. I think it was Missouri Lead Belt National Enduro last year. He called me up and asked me if I could do it, and basically I was like, all right. I said, yeah, I'll check with my parents and all that. Got back to them, and it was just crazy. It was like I had 1 week right after that. I was getting a passport and booking plane flights, and it was just chaos. Nice.
So what was of the 3 things that you were like, okay, I got to figure this stuff out the most? What were those for people that are kind of going, oh man, how hard was it him to figure this out? It's like, was it tire changing? Was it bike maintenance? Was it just how to ride and not get monkey ass that's gonna like wear you down for 6 days? Or what were some of the major concerns?
Well, as far as, I guess, you're in the race, you're obviously talking about because before the race it was just getting the passport and everything was crazy. But, okay, let me think here. The tire changing was pretty hard. I think the first day I was nervous, and I only got the rear done because I was just so nervous and excited, and, I wasn't able to do the front. But luckily, before, I kind of had a system down that worked for me kind of for ISDE, because a guy that was supporting me to help me get to the Nationals last year, there was 2 guys, Hank Kanabi, another guy, Glenn Scher. He went to ISDE. He qualified, and he's a 50-plus A rider. And I spent some time at his house, and he was sponsoring me, and he taught me how he changed tires at the ISDE. So I was like, yeah, I always want to learn new things. So he taught me what he did, and I've done it and practiced it, and so I kind of had a system for that. But the hardest thing to learn was just, I think, just keeping your bike going and just staying smart, because you want to really preserve the bike, and just, you got to use your time wisely as far as changing the tires, and if you have something broken, getting it fixed and getting on time to impound and all that was definitely challenging.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the big challenges that people have when they go to the ISDE is how to pay for it. And a lot of people, a lot of people, make different websites, and they find different sponsors and stuff like that. And so I think this next partner, before we kind of talk about it a little bit more of Seat Time, is a great kind of lead into that, is Squarespace. So you can check them out, squarespace.com/seattime. Now, this is the whole package. If you are an athlete looking to have a website, you're not even an athlete. If you're a photographer, if you're a chef, if you happen to be enthusiastic about anything, and you write blog posts about your baby's stool for whatever strange reason, this is the place that you want to host and have your website, because they do everything for you. You can go to Squarespace, you can sign up for one of their packages, and you can use our discount code, which we'll tell you here in a little bit. And you can have the whole deal. You can get your URL, you can host your website, you can create all your content, upload your pictures, put up all your videos, all that kinds of fun stuff, and you can pick out the absolutely best looking themes for these websites that you can still customize if you so desire after the fact, even though they are stunningly good looking, to then create a little bit more of a custom feel. And they're completely responsive, so people can view these websites from all over different type of devices, to big browser computers, to little tiny tablets, or little tiny phones, or I guess average size tablets to little tiny phones. If we're talking size here specifically. Nobody likes to do that, but sometimes you have to. So I think if you're an athlete out there who's going, I want to go to the ISDE, I want to have a website where people can buy t-shirts or they can learn more about me or anything like that, Squarespace would be a great place to start. I think it's a very good way to do it. I think you should check it out, squarespace.com/seattime, and the discount code you can use to save 10% off of your first purchase. So 10% if you get a month, or 10% off your first month if you buy a month, 10% off your entire year if you buy a whole year, is SeatTime1. That is a discount code you can use. So thank you very much, Squarespace, for your support. We really, really appreciate it. So, complete tie-in, because that's what I'm good at. How did you get help? Did you have time to save for the ISDE? I know you overalled Ohio, or the qualifier in Ohio, just by wanting to go, and didn't even have a letter of intent out there. So, I mean, did you just have to fork over a ton of cash, or what was the deal?
Well, since Stuart Baylor was already going, basically, I mean, I rode his motorcycle and had his hotel room, so a good portion of the expenses were paid for, but luckily, I mean, there were still a lot of things to pay for. I mean, 6 sets of riding gear, and, the plane ticket and food, and, just getting there, and all the travel expenses were crazy. And luckily, the ECEA and the clubs and just a lot of local people in town and stuff like that. Basically, I just posted that I'd really appreciate any donations, and a lot of people actually donated and helped pay for most of it, and I'm really appreciative for that. It's just a really cool thing to have so many people kind of supporting and supporting me to get out there and do it. And I'm I'd probably still be in debt if it wasn't for those people.
Yeah, I would imagine that one of those trips would be easily maybe 4 semesters of college, if not 2. I mean, it depends on the college, obviously, but I mean, it's not an easy trip. It's probably 10, 12 grand if you're just footing the whole bill, paying for all of it. I mean, it's a hefty chunk of change. I know I spend a ton of money just going over there, hanging out, doing pictures and video. So, I mean, granted, I had beer tabs. When you're over there riding, you don't have those, but that's fine. I mean, some of us do. I probably still would, but
yeah. And I mean, we just to touch back before, just the main craziest thing was just getting everything organized. And I mean, he literally, after the Missouri National Enduro, I was called on Monday, and I flew out the following Monday to the ISDE, or the following. Yeah, I think I had 1 week's notice, so I had to get a passport, 6 sets of riding gear. I mean, everything was overnight shipped to my house, and I brought my suspension there. I had to get the painted helmet. Just everything just had to come together. I made a big list on the ride home, and it was like pulling my hair out. I had to get a international driving permit or whatever, and it was crazy. So I mean, that was just the whole trip was just crazy.
Did you get any fun speeding tickets while you were over there? Because we did.
Oh, actually, no. Luckily I didn't end up driving that much, because when I was hanging out with the trophy guys, I was in Destry Abbott and Taylor Roberts' car, and when we were driving all the different tests, and I'm sure they got some tickets because we were going pretty fast, and I feel bad for the rental company when they got those cars back with the off-roading that we did, but no, luckily I didn't get any, because I actually ended up not driving that much. Nice.
Well, yeah, hopefully they bought insurance and everything was taken care of. So I don't think I mean, I'm pretty sure that when Auntie is, or Auntie and his people are making all the plans, they realize who they're going to be putting behind the wheels of these cars, and they're like, insurance, yes, double insurance, absolutely. We need all of that as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good tie-in as well, because we could talk a little bit about the fact that, say, like Destry Abbott, Taylor Robert, we've got some of the other endurocross guys like Corey Graffunder that's been on the show. They're all in Brazil now, getting ready for X Games, doing endurocross. How crazy do you think it is that those guys are now, getting to travel the world on, doing this with X Games?
Yeah, that's awesome, and I think endurocross is a really cool thing, and I enjoy riding endurocross, and if there was some closer events, I'd definitely be at them, but that's just awesome. Just traveling the world and going to another country to ride a motorcycle. That's just something when you're a kid, like dream about. So that's really cool. And I like to see, just as, a racer and a rider, I like to see anything that, just to make the off-road sport bigger, motocross and supercross everybody knows about that. And then, you talk to somebody about enduro, they're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
So, but it's cool. That's awesome. They're traveling the world and doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Good luck to all those guys. I think it's going to be fantastic. I really look forward to watching it. I want to say I didn't check the exact times. I do know that it's Thursday, the 18th. That evening for us, we can watch it live. If we wanted to do that, I believe it's like 7 to 9 p.m. ish. I want to say 8, but I think that might have been Pacific time. So obviously, figure out your time schedule. Obviously, I'm sure we could find it at xgames.com or espn.com if we wanted to get technical with it. But right now, we're in the middle of a show here. We don't need to get crazy, do we, Steven? Absolutely not. Why would we want to do a thing like that? So, good luck to all those guys. This past weekend as well was another Hare and Hound. We had Kurt Caselli winning another race. Kurt Caselli is my bromance, if you did not know, Mr. Jesse. And if you didn't, now you do. He's pretty much my favorite faves of all the faves ever. And he won. What's that?
Is that one of his jerseys up there?
Which?
I don't know. I see KTM and
I have actually I keep his jersey somewhere else.
Oh.
Not really. No, it is in the garage actually. I wanted it to sound dirty just because everybody likes to think that way, but in reality, it's not really that dirty because it's in the garage. It's hanging there. I've got some more that I need to transfer over, and then of course Mike Lafferty was like, "Oh, I'm going to send you one," and everybody else was like, "Oh, we'll send you one." They don't ever send me one, suckers. Whatever.
Well, the garage, is a dirty place to hang your jersey.
I know. I kind of like it there. It's better than in my sock drawer, I guess, right? Because that'd just be weird.
Yeah.
Most people be like, "Is it in your underwear drawer?" I'd be like, "Nope, but I wear it as underwear." So sick and weird. It was interesting. Toby Price from Australia, he got to come over to do another Hare and Hound. He's going to be doing some, I don't know when he's going to be riding again because unfortunately he got hurt this past weekend. We had Skylar Hose as well got hurt. I think it's kind of crazy. It just seemed like there was guys left and right that we heard about, not just in the pro ranks going down and getting hurt. So we definitely send out all of our thoughts and prayers out to those guys for speedy recoveries. Luckily, it seems everybody's up, everybody's walking, but it just kind of sucks when you hear about so many different guys going down. Have you ever done an event like that, like a Hare and Hound, Jesse?
No, I've never done a Works or a Hare and Hound. I mean, I'd love to go out and experience one. They look pretty intense. I mean, I've watched some of Kurt's helmet cams where it looks like it's just like 5th, 6th gear, wide open across the desert. Like you hit one of those bushes, you're gonna be done. So
yeah. And that's what it looked like for Skylar's helmet cam. I know Bo Cottonen put up his video and put out and he had the crash video of Skylar in there, and it was like he was just booking it like you're saying 5th, 6th gear, and all of a sudden he's just like, and you can see the bike like above his head, and he's like just pinballing it into the ground, and it didn't look fun, to say the least.
I had a crash going in 6th gear. Actually killed a deer, hit a deer and killed it.
What?
Yeah, I last year it was like my brand new KTM, just got it, didn't even have one ride on it, and I was like, let me open this thing up on the dirt road and see how fast it goes. And I just clicked it in a sixth and was wide open, but I wasn't at the top of the gear. I was just kind of went from fifth to sixth, and I didn't even have time to let off and T-bone the thing and went sailing and sliding, and fanny pack ripped off, the bike subframe bent, clutch master cylinder busted off, handguard busted off, bars bent, and I killed the deer.
So, but you walked away?
Yeah, I walked away.
Holy crap!
I had like, it looked like somebody took like heavy duty sandpaper and sanded my helmet and my chest protector, and like I had scrapes all down my legs and stuff from just the road,
road rash, yeah,
sliding down the gravel road. But luckily, I mean, I got really lucky.
Did you eat the deer?
No, everybody said I should have, but I mean, it was killed. It was dead. I took a picture on my phone because I keep my phone in my fanny pack whenever I ride.
Yeah.
I took a picture of it, and the thing was dead laying there. I don't know if an animal came and got it, because I went to come back later to see if it was there, like later in the afternoon, and it was gone. So I don't know if somebody picked it up, or maybe it, was, I don't know, knocked out. But I mean, the thing wasn't moving. So
regardless, if you hit a deer and you killed it or knocked it out, that's still pretty impressive. That's fast.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the throttle when I hit the thing. I didn't even have a chance to let off.
Well, sometimes that's better when you're just like, why am I on the ground? Opposed to like, oh shit, and then you hit it, and it's like you don't want that half second of oh crap. You just want to be on the ground and be like, oh. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, are you going to be at Big Buck this coming weekend? We got GNCC's coming back. Are you going to be down there racing?
No, actually, I'm going to take it a little bit easy with them. The
Okay.
last I went to, I think it was just trying to race all the national series a little bit too crazy, so I need to make sure I'm putting the results in the enduros. But I think I'm going to stay local, hit a local series hare scramble, and get some good riding in, and then get up and get some practice on some harder dirt for the Tennessee National Enduro next weekend, so I could be ready to go and fighting my way towards the top.
Yeah, I like it. I like that. That's a good attitude to have. I think that's what you got to do. You got to realize where you want to be, figure out what you got to do to get there, and then just like make it happen. And I'm really glad to hear you say that. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you up there. The work you've been putting in and the way you've been, working your way up the ranks. I think it's only a matter of time. So it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm trying to be patient, but I want to get it done as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Other people that are going to make crap happen, we're going to have another Works event coming up, round 4. It's going to be in Utah. And then, of course, May 4th, just not this coming weekend, but the weekend after that, is going to be Seat Time is doing our first Beer Olympics. We have wanted to always kind of put together a way to create an atmosphere and an evening for people to come, more moto heads to get together, have fun, goof off. So if you're in the northern Texas area and you'd like to come partake in our Beer Olympics and watch Vegas Supercross with us, please hit us up on our Facebook page, and you can do that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Steven is going to be there. Steven and I are both. We're going to be videographing, if you want to call it any form of professional way, the event. I'm pretty sure that Steven as well is going to partake in as many events as he can and try to claim a prize at the Beer Olympics. I myself will not be able to partake, not just because of my gluten-free allergy or gluten allergy, but because of the fact that I'm on narcotics. It's not a good idea to drink a crap ton when you're on narcotics. I've been told that by doctors. So I'm going to listen. Nobody believes me, but I'm going to listen. Yeah, I think it's a good idea that I listen, right, Jesse?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so they're going to South Carolina for the GNCC. Somebody on that coast that we'd like to thank as well for Seat Time is Powersport Graphics. So you can find them at ridepg.com if you are on the internet. Some of the stuff that we've been talking about a lot with them is how they really try to make it easy for you to save money. 2 of those options are if you want to save 40% off of your purchasing order, you go pick up one of their kits. You pick the ready-to-ship option. It's going to print out, as you see on the site. No custom logos or anything like that, but obviously that's because of the fact that there's less work involved. They're boom. That's what I want. They're putting it out, ready to go. If you order it before 11 a.m. Eastern time, it's shipped the same day. That's the way you get the best graphics, quick, and on time. And then, of course, if you're like, I want to order something a little bit more specific, maybe a little bit more custom, and you want to save 10%, you use the discount code SEATTIME. So SEATTIME. So multiple ways for you to go to ridepg.com or the Powersport Graphics shop, save some money, and have a good time, and say thank you very much for all the supporters that support Seat Time. I think they're fantastic people. Fantastic. Right, Steven? He shakes his head with mass enthusiasm, folks. We need to get a Steven cam. And
he doesn't say much.
He doesn't. No, Steven is not the most enthusiastic person. But that we don't have him around because he's loud like I am. We can't have two conflicting personalities, can we?
This is my enthusiasm.
That's about as enthused as he gets, unfortunately, folks. But that's okay. We love Steven for who he is, not who other people think he should be, right? Boom. His beard, I mean, it's crazy. He's probably got some rats living in there. But, whose beard doesn't, right? You got a good beard, it should have some rats living in there, especially if you're in Duck Dynasty or something, right?
I hear chicks dig the beards.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I doubt it, but
Yeah, no, that doesn't really work.
that's unfortunately not the case. Oh, well. All right. Well, Jesse Groemm, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. With a lot of work and a lot of training and a lot of riding, that's very, very hard. So please tell people out there where they can get in touch with you. Any kind of websites, Facebook, all your Twitter handles, jazz like that, so that people can get in touch with you and tell you how awesome you are.
Yeah, you can search me on Facebook, Twitter. Just search Jesse Groemm. My email, and jessegroemm@gmail.com. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I like it because it's extremely difficult. His name's Jesse Groemm. It's at Jesse Groemm on Twitter, and it's jessegroemm@gmail.com. It's like super simple. I'm okay with that.
I don't want to load anybody out there.
Yeah, I don't.
Keep it simple.
It's like boom. You Northeasterners, you have to work on your accent more than you do anything else, and we don't want anybody hurting each other.
Lagging out a little bit.
That's all right. All right. Well, this has been Seat Time. We really appreciate it. Again, you can find all of these episodes on seattime.co, YouTube, Stitcher, and iTunes are the places. So the website, though, is seattime.co. It's where we keep all of our shenanigans archived for fun. And then, of course, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/seattime. If you'd like to become our fan there, we'd really appreciate it. And then Twitter. Of course, like we said, we love being tweeted really hard on the Twitter. So please, twitter.com/seattime_co. Change it up a little bit there just to get confusing. We really appreciate it. Jesse, it's been a fantastic evening. We kept it just under an hour. My lap right now is burning from this laptop. I've had half of my one drink with my narcotics pill, and I'm going to pour the rest out because I'm realizing that that's all I need. I think about an hour for this show has been fantastic. So I really appreciate it. Good luck at the next races. Good luck this weekend at your locals, and we'll talk soon on the internet, right?
Sounds good.
All right, boss. Take it easy. Remember, Seat Time. Always enjoy a pipe full of awesome. We'll see you at the Beer Olympics on May 4th. Peace.
Awesome. Seat Time.